So when I think about the creative process, there's basically two statements that come to mind. Now the one I think sums up the entirety of the creative process. For the longest time, I used to believe that creativity was a purely intuitive process. Like Einstein said, ideas come from God. But let's explore this a little bit. Admittedly, intuition does play an immense role in the process of creativity. But I can already hear you saying that, if we take a musician as an example, she has got to first acquire a basic skill set. So she's got to learn an instrument. From there, she'll spend the rest of her life practicing and performing and practicing in order to basically fine-tune her skill. You may even argue that creativity peaks periodically as she is confronted with certain technical aspects of acquiring the skill, with certain technical aspects of musicality. And, it will peak as she struggles with and overcomes the resistance and becomes better at her instrument. And you'd probably be right. As a matter of fact, I believe that you're dead on if that's what you think. Now, in his book Mind Power, John Kehoe describes his process for dealing with unfamiliar challenges. What he suggests is, first off, immerse yourself in all the information that you can find. Study everything that you can about the topic and completely saturate your brain with information. That leads us to the second part, the incubation period, which is when you just leave it. Now, as I'm sure you can hear by my voice, that I've got a nasty little summer cold. And I believe that the life cycle of bacteria or virus or whatever in the human body is a good metaphor for how this works. When a bug is transferred to you, you don't get sick immediately. There's a period in which the bug will go and lie dormant. It's going to find a hiding place, encapsulate itself, and multiply. And only once it has multiplied and becomes strong in numbers, it's going to pop out and you're going to be sick. And I believe that it's the same with creativity. Once you have saturated your mind with everything possible, during the incubation period, your mind will come and make certain connections. It's going to draw from your framework of reference, and it's going to make connections with things that are familiar, things that you already know and understand. You asked the question, what is the nature of creativity? Is creativity born or trained? What are the basic attributes of inventors and creative researchers? And then he basically listed three things under that. Creativity is the intellectual ability to make creations, inventions, and discoveries that brings novel relations, entities, and or unexpected solutions into existence. The second one, the cognitive foundation of creativity is a new and unusual relation. Now, personally, I think the implications are huge. I always used to expect that answers to any given problem, a solution to any given problem, would come from that field of study, if you want to call it that. But this clearly shows us that it doesn't. So creativity, I would like to take this a step further and say creativity is not only in actually creating something. It's not in picking up a paintbrush and making majestic strokes and creating a masterpiece. It's not in me sitting down, grabbing some instruments and slapping together some or other masterpiece. Creativity is everything we do that leads us towards creativity. So I don't believe creativity is only the act of creating.
Creativity is also the act of immersing ourselves in new experiences. Creativity is allowing our brain, our mind, to make new connections. So if I can leave you with one thought today, with one piece of advice, if you will, let that be to broaden your horizons and dig deep. I know it sounds like 2 points, but it's actually part 1 and part 2 of the same point. A and B. Let's call it 1A and 1B. Immerse yourself completely. So broaden your horizons, and when you do, immerse yourself completely. Alright, this is Doggy Dan. Thank you so much for watching. Go be creative, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.